What's going on, guys? This is the Talking Sports Podcast with Adam and Alec. This is episode 36. And tonight's going to be an awesome episode talking about the NFL draft that's going live right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars just got on the clock with the first pick in the 2022 NFL draft that is in Las Vegas. We got some guests on. Nick's back with us again for another episode. It's glad to have you on, Nick. And also my brother, Ryan. He's having computer difficulties and his camera isn't working, but we're glad to have Ryan with us on as well. So, guys, the NFL is slowly coming back. We're getting closer to the season every day, and I'm excited for that. But what's better than the NFL draft? Who do you guys think is going number one?
I think they need to go Hutchinson here. Aiden, they got to go him. His draft stock's definitely rose over the last year. So I think he's pretty easily to go one. I know they were talking about Thibodeau a little bit, but some off-field stuff came up lately. Don't know if that was going to hurt his stock or not.
Alec, I completely agree. I think the Jaguars definitely need Hutchinson's just a freak edge rusher. It only comes along once in a generation, and I definitely think they will regret it if they do not take him. But we will see. They could also definitely shore up their line too, their offensive line, but I definitely agree that they will take Hutchinson.
Nick, what about you?
I'm having some computer difficulties. I can barely understand what you guys are saying, but I know the question was who's going to go number one. Hutch definitely deserves to go one, but I'm kind of a Lions fan. They're probably two after the Cowboys. I would like Hutch to end up in Michigan again, but he probably deserves to go number one.
Yeah, there's been a lot of hype around Hutchinson. Obviously, he was the runner-up for the Heisman this past season, had an incredible season at Michigan. There's been talks in the last couple of days of Trayvon Walker, the defensive lineman from Georgia. A lot of people have been talking about him possibly going number one to Jacksonville as well. Ryan, you mentioned they could touch up the offensive line. I think if they were to go with the offensive line, they would need to go with Evan Neal from Alabama. The tackle, I don't know if you saw his combine or workouts or anything like that, but that dude is a stud. He weighs like 350 pounds, and he doesn't look like it at all. He's just a freak. Big, muscular, huge guy, and that could be a great pick for them at left tackle to protect Lawrence. So it could be interesting to see what they do here. It's going to be hard to pass up on Hutch, but would you rather go defense with Hutch or Trayvon Walker, or do you want to protect Lawrence? So it's interesting to see. We still got about 6.5 minutes until the Jags are left on the clock for about 6.5 more minutes.
All right, so in those 6 minutes, let's talk a little bit about this draft. Y'all three are obviously Dallas fans. What's something that y'all want to see happen for Dallas in this year's draft?
No, Dallas for sure. They need to shore up their offensive line. You know, they need to protect Dak. They need to get the running game going strong. And yes, they also need some defensive help. They can always use more in the secondary and on the D line as well. But I definitely hope that they make their offensive line priority. One of the things that really helped them is when they drafted Zach Martin in 2014, that really helped kind of give Romo a few more extra years of life in him and just kind of rejuvenalize that team then. And they definitely need to do the same thing now. Obviously, wide receiver is a hole as well. I hope they don't burn the first pick on it, but those are the issues that I see.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Ryan. I am honestly going to be very upset if we do not draft an offensive lineman in the first round. I really want Tyler Lindenbaum from Iowa, the center. He's a really great player. Reminds me a lot of Travis Frederick, who we had a couple years ago. Sadly, his career got cut short from autoimmune disease. But he was a great player, probably the best center in the league at the time. So I think we could replace him by drafting Lindbaum. So that would be my first choice for lineman, obviously. I got a really bad feeling that they're going to take a receiver in the first round. So I hope that doesn't happen. But I've also heard things that we could trade up and maybe try and get Thibodeau, the kid from Oregon. If we trade up and made a big move like that, I think that would be great. But there's got to be a Micah Parsons or a CeeDee Lamb-like player for them to not draft an offensive lineman. And that's in my opinion. Then they need to go O-line.
You do need to remember the last time they made a big move and traded up, ended up with a DB that did not help us at all. So just be
Mo
careful
Claiborne.
what you wish for. Mo Claiborne. Just remember that pick number 9. Everybody was going crazy for it. I honestly think it's better you just let the chips fall where they may. You take your pick at 24. You keep your capital. They have several picks in days 2 and day 3 just to keep this going. So I think you sit back. You take if Lindenbaum is still there at 24, that'd be incredible. So if you take him. So, but yeah, we'll definitely see what happens here. It looks like the pick may be coming in for the Jaguars.
The pick is coming in, yes. And I agree with you 100% on that, Ryan. Like I said, the only reason they need to trade up and get somebody if there's a player like Mike Parsons or CeeDee Lamb. So, which I don't even know if there is. So,
while we're waiting for the pick to come in, I'll go on what Adam said. Offensive line, definitely. I don't know if Lindenbaum is going to fall to the Cowboys at 24. If not, I would be satisfied with Kenyon Green, the guard out of Texas A&M. I think he had a great pro day. Obviously, if we can trade up and get the center from Iowa, that's best case scenario.
Yeah, but if you look back and think about when the Cowboys have been at our best the last few years, it's when we've been able to run the ball and protect our quarterback the best. So if we want to get back to that and when it matters in January, we got to fix the O-line. All right, the pick is coming in right now. Roger Goodell to the stand for pick number 1. The Jaguars just selected Trayvon Walker, edge rusher from Georgia. I predicted that right.
Wow, so that sets up Aiden going to Detroit, most likely.
Most likely, you would think. This guy is 6'5", 272, and ran a 4.51 40-yard dash. That's insane.
So Detroit on the clock now, or are they still waiting a little bit?
They're still waiting just a hair. So Trayvon Walker is not actually at the draft. He's at home in Atlanta, so they probably won't have anybody. He won't be coming on stage or anything like that. So probably just a few more seconds before Detroit's on the clock. What do y'all think of that pick?
Good pick, obviously. Great pick. He's a beast. He did so much for Georgia. Was it the right pick? I guess we'll see. There's 3 crazy good edge rushers this draft, and they went with Walker, so only time will tell.
What were the main downfalls on this guy? Because I knew Aiden, he had shorter arms. They were kind of saying he might have trouble getting off blocks in the next level. Were there any negatives to this guy?
I don't remember necessarily hearing any. I'm sure there were. They're talking about his change of direction right now and how fast he is and great effort. They showed a play of him like running down the field and tackling a fast wide receiver 30 yards down the field. So I think that's going to be great for Jacksonville. And Detroit's on the clock and their pick is already in. So we already know who they're taking.
Has to be Hutch.
Which will be cool to see, obviously, Hutchinson playing for Michigan and growing up there. I mean, that's cool.
That was a quick pick. All right, while we're waiting, do y'all think who's the first quarterback off the board for y'all?
I guess I'll go first. I kind of think I got this feeling that Malik Willis is going to go first. I don't necessarily think that he's the best quarterback in the draft, but I think he'll be the first one taken. I think there's a lot of upside with Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral, Ritter. I don't know about Ritter, what he's going to do at the NFL level, but I think Malik Willis will be the first one taken. I could see either Pickett or Corral being better long-term in the NFL, in my opinion.
I think the more interesting question is going to be which team is going to go up at first. Is it going to be Seattle? Is it going to be Carolina? Or is it going to be somebody else going to come in maybe at the later rounds trying to hop back into the first using the second? I think that's going to be the more intriguing thing because maybe Atlanta make a move. Obviously, Matt Ryan, there was some turmoil there with maybe Matt Ryan was going to be moved. So I think the more interesting aspect is which team is going to be the first to take the quarterback. Like Adam was saying, he may not be the best, and it may just be just who needs the quarterback the most.
And here comes the pick for the Lions. Hutch, obviously.
All right, so that puts Houston on the clock, right?
Yes, Houston will be next. So that's awesome to see Hutch go to his home state team, Obviously a great player there in Hutch.
Nick, who do you think is the first quarterback off the board?
Yeah, I was getting to it, but Aiden Hutchinson pick kind of interrupted me. Malik Willis, I think, has the highest ceiling in the draft, but I think Kenny Pickett will be the first taken because he's the most pro ready. In my opinion, Desmond Ritter and Matt Corral, they're both going to have – I don't think this quarterback draft class is very deep, but I feel like they'll all have decent careers.
Yeah, I don't think there's like can't miss quarterback here because, like you said, they're all going to be probably okay in NFL, but there's not a superstar in this draft class like there were in previous years. That question kind of leads me into this question. Since y'all, I think all three of y'all OU fans, does Baker Mayfield get dealt tonight in part of a trade package, or what do y'all think about that?
I think that's a really interesting question. I love Baker. I don't know if he's worth a first-round pick. That'll be interesting to see. Like Ryan mentioned, who's going to trade up and take a quarterback, or is someone going to trade a pick to get a free agent quarterback, that's just sitting there or something like that. So that'll be interesting to see. I don't think Baker will be waiting a whole lot longer. It's kind of weird. I feel like he should be somewhere already. I'm just wondering where Debo's going to go. I know that kind of gets off topic, but it'll be interesting to see if Debo gets traded in a deal tonight,
Yeah, for both of those guys, I think Debo really San Francisco. Debo has no leverage in that situation. San Francisco has all the leverage there. I don't think they're going to make a move. Honestly, it doesn't make sense for them. They're trying to integrate Trey Lance, and why would you take that big of a weapon away from Trey Lance? And just because Debo, isn't happy. Obviously, we saw what happened with Deshaun Watson last year, and that could obviously happen again with Debo. But I think that Debo stays tight tonight, and he won't move. Onto the Baker scenario, I think that Cleveland is waiting, and I think everyone else knows that they think Cleveland's going to cut him. So I think everybody's just waiting for Cleveland to cut him, and then whether it's Seattle that takes the bait and picks him up and signs him to, a vet minimum 1-year deal, prove it kind of a deal, or Pittsburgh or Carolina. I think all those teams are going to be kind of sitting back and waiting because Cleveland really has no choice really but just to cut him. So unfortunately, I think both of those guys will stay put here tonight, but we'll see in the weeks to come what will happen.
I don't think Baker Mayfield moves tonight. Like Ryan said, I think he's waiting to get cut. I don't know if the Browns will. I don't know if anyone wants to make a move for Baker when he will get cut in the long run.
And with that being said, Houston's pick is in. They didn't take very long to make their pick either. I'm going to guess that this is going to be Evan Neal. I think they could use an offensive lineman, so I'm going to guess Evan Neal. Who do you think they're going to take?
I agree with that Evan Neal pick. Probably a pretty safe pick.
I agree with Neil, and I think we're going to see it's going to be more interesting to see what these next few picks are, especially with New York, both New York teams having multiple picks here in the next 10 coming picks. Just going to see what they're going to do. Are they going to trade out of those second picks? Are they going to stay put? And we'll kind of see how this all unfolds.
Evan Neal is definitely a safe pick. If the Texans end up staying with Davis Mills, or David Mills, they're definitely going to need a tackle to help him out. And I think tonight is going to start that. So, yeah, we'll go with Neal.
He's definitely the best tackle in the draft. And obviously being at Alabama, he was the best coaches, the best everything at Alabama. So he's brought up well, and he's definitely pro ready. Playing in the SEC, playing against guys who, I mean, he played against the Georgia kid who went number one, you know. So I think this guy's definitely pro ready. All right, here comes a pick. Third pick in the draft. Oh, wow.
Corner.
Wow. That surprises me. But I did not think Stingley – they just drafted Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback from LSU. So they're going the defensive route, which is smart. Defense wins championships. But I did not expect Stingley to go this high, honestly.
That's a very interesting pick.
I was kind of thinking that Sauce Gardner would be the first corner taken, but it's Stingley with the third pick. Ryan, like you mentioned earlier, we've seen cornerbacks taken too high with the Cowboys, so we'll see how this guy turns out.
I feel like for a corner, a DB, that was taken awfully quick. I think these guys definitely knew who they were taking at the start of this draft. I don't think anyone was expecting Stingley to go this high.
So up next, we got New York, we got Jets, and then Giants back to back. What do you guys think? Surely Neal is not going to make it past either of these. Surely one of them will take them. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely think Neal's either going to go 4 or 5. You look at the Jets, and they kind of need receivers. I mean, you look at they've been trying. I don't know if y'all heard, but they've been trying to trade for Debo and one other receiver that I just blanked on, or was it? It might have been AJ Brown. I think it was AJ Brown that they're trying to make a deal for. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Jameson Williams. I think the kid from Alabama, who's probably going to end up being the best receiver out of this draft, could be. They could take him, or you got Zach Wilson, who you drafted last year, number 1 or number 2 or 3, whatever it was. But could draft Neal to help protect him. So I think you're right, Ryan. Neal won't last past these New York teams.
I think Neal would be the smarter option because you want to protect your quarterback. That's the main thing right now. And like you said, there's guys that could potentially be traded that you can trade for. So I think Neal would probably be the safe bet as far as protection. And then this draft class is pretty deep in receivers. I think they have another pick coming up, so you can probably get a receiver then.
So with the Giants not taking Daniel Jones's option, that just came out today, what do you guys think the Giants' long-term plan is? Obviously, they're probably going to stick with Daniel Jones through the rest of this year and kind of play it out. But obviously, a tackle will be a very smart decision to help him. But I mean, so who you guys think? Do you think they're going to try to get a quarterback in this round, or try to maybe shore up with a veteran quarterback, or just just keep going and try next year for the quarterback for the Giants?
I think next year there's better quarterbacks in the draft, or that's supposed to be in the draft at least. Because I know into this year, Spencer Rattler was a top guy, and then the whole thing happened at OU. So obviously this year's draft wasn't going to be very deep at quarterback anyway. But next year you got blanking on his name, CJ Stroud. He's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. You got a couple other guys. I'm blanking on their name, sucks. But next year should be a little bit deeper in the draft. I think they get a quarterback next year.
Won't Bryce Young come out next year?
Yeah,
from
that's
Bama.
what I was trying to think of.
Yeah,
Bryce Young.
I wouldn't say this is the deepest quarterback draft, not like we've seen in the past. There's a lot of good quarterbacks, don't get me wrong, and these guys could turn out to be really well, but not like the crazy names. Like, obviously, a quarterback hasn't been taken. When's the last time a quarterback hasn't been taken in the first 3 picks? I feel like that's been a while, So I feel like I could see the Giants taking tackle or with Neal if the Jets don't take him, and then just kind of playing it, get a quarterback next year or here in the near future. The Jets pick is in, so we'll have that coming up pretty quick.
Real quick, do you guys expect any OU players to get drafted tonight?
I could see Nick Benito going late first round, but Nick's really I think Nick's probably maybe go late first round. That'll be the only one I could think of. Oh, and Perion Winfrey. He could go late first, early second. Those are my top 2 guys that I think would go. All right, while we're waiting for this pick, I'm assuming we're just going to go through the first 5 picks since the picks have been coming pretty quick.
Yeah, that'll probably end up being what it is.
Yeah. It's gone a lot quicker than normal, I feel like.
Right. I feel like they're not taking all their time like they usually do.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who the Jets go with here, though.
While it's on my mind, I think if the Jets end up going Evan Neal here and the Giants don't want to take the tackle from NC State, I forget his name. I think we could see a trade if they want to move back and take a quarterback. I know it's not very deep. Obviously, they can get away with moving back. They could end up with a couple of picks if they move back. I'm not sure how the later first or early second looks, but I think the Giants definitely have the potential to make a trade.
All right, here comes the Jets pick. Wow. Back-to-back cornerback Sauce Gardner is drafted 4th overall by the Jets. Wow.
Dang.
I thought Sauce was going to go before Derek Stingley, but they go back-to-back. That's kind of crazy. I did not expect that. Hold up. There's not been a single offensive player picked. This shows you how deep this defensive class of all these defensive players is this draft. That's crazy.
That is insane. Kind of opens the door for Jalen Petrie to get drafted late tonight.
That definitely could happen. one of the best safeties in the Big 12.
He's getting a lot of recognition lately, which is huge.
Ryan, were you surprised by this pick?
For me, I really am. I really think they should have went offensive tackle. Given obviously they're building this team around Zach Wilson, and yes, their defense needs help as well. But I think they are, they they need to protect Zach Wilson, and obviously they're getting a stud corner here, and maybe that's what they're going to do here in a few picks. With I believe they have the seventh pick as well, so maybe that is their plan, and they weren't expecting to be here. But yeah, I definitely was surprised. I thought they would have shored up Zach Wilson and helping him on the O line.
I'm guessing that they believe that Evan Neal's going to drop to 10, maybe. I don't know. But now the Giants are on the clock, so we'll see what they do here at 5.
And you mentioned you had the trivia time quiz.
Yes. We want to do that after the 5th pick here?
Yeah, we could probably.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have a trivia time coming up after the Giants' 5th pick. We're only going to do the first 5 picks just because if we did every pick, we'd be here for 4 hours. But we'll have a trivia time after the Giants' first-round pick. Are the Giants going to go Neal? We've been talking about Evan Neal for the last 2 picks, and he hasn't gotten taken. Will they go Neal? Could they trade their pick? I don't know. What do you think they're going to do here?
I've been saying the past 3 picks, it's got to be Neal.
If they don't go offensive tackle here, they're definitely doing the Cowboys a favor by allowing our pass rushers to keep getting to Daniel Jones. So whatever they do, guess it'll be fine. Evan Neal finally gets taken, or Cowboys get more pass rush. So I'm good with whatever.
And it wouldn't be the first time the Giants have flopped on a first-round pick. So let's hope they keep that streak going for our Cowboys.
What do you guys feel like that Carolina is going to do? Obviously, we have in New York, then Carolina, then the Giants pick again. But what do you think Carolina being right in the middle of the 2 Giants picks? What do you guys feel like they're thinking?
I feel like Carolina might be in the running for a quarterback. Now, I know there were talks about them getting Baker at some point. So I don't know if they're going to want to take a player that early, a quarterback that early. But I could see them going quarterback. Or Evan Neal if he's still there.
Yeah, and with Carolina, didn't Robbie Anderson make it really obvious that he did not want Baker Mayfield as their quarterback? So they might go with the quarterback this pick. If no one's really feeling Baker in the organization, Malik Willis could come off.
I just got a notification that the Giants are drafting Thibodeau. The pick is not in on our TV, but it's from JPA Football, and JPA seems to be very reliable. There's no source, it just says Thibodeau has been drafted by the Giants. So I guess we'll see.
That's lovely. I hope this kid turns out to be a bust because I do not want to see him 2 times a year.
He dropped quite a bit, I feel like.
Giants, stop being happy. Y'all are trash. All right, here comes the Giants pick. Like Nick said, we're kind of thinking Thibodeau here after he saw that tweet, so we'll see. All right, here comes the Giants' first round pick. They're taking a while on the pick. It's kind of cool. They had like a Make-A-Wish kid up there to do the pick, so that's cool. The kid's pretty hype. I would be too. All right, here comes the pick. Yep. They take Thibodeau from Oregon with the 5th pick. So that's interesting. What do you think about that, Ryan? Is that good or bad for us Cowboys?
Oh man, it's going to definitely be interesting. Them adding some more depth to their defensive line, and we've obviously talked about the Cowboys' line woes, especially with Tyron Smith getting older, and of course they really need to replace their center, as you said, Frederick, who has retired, and Zach Martin's not getting any older as well. So yes, this could definitely be a huge weapon for the Giants. So we'll just kind of have to see how he ends up turning out, and we'll obviously have to wait and see what the Cowboys do to shore up if they go offense or defense. And but yeah, we'll just have to see. And so Neal continues to fall. You know, we've seen a bunch of times where people in drafts have fallen, whether it's Brady Quinn back in the day, or of course Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger. Also other famous examples. How far do you guys think Neal is going to fall, or do you think he won't fall too much further?
I would love for him to fall to 24. That would be absolutely incredible if the Cowboys could get nailed at 24. That's not going to happen. I would love to see that happen. You would think Carolina would take him, right, if they're not going quarterback. What would be really bad is if Carolina doesn't take him and the Giants take him. That would be really bad for us.
Yeah,
but talking about Thibodeau more, the thing I don't like is that the Cowboys didn't keep La'el Collins, one of our best tackles. So that's something we need to address as well because, yeah, that was a big loss for us.
Now, definitely agree. It'll be interesting to see what the Giants do with number 7, if Neal's still there, or if they shore up their defense, or if they maybe try to get Daniel Jones some weapons. You know, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. And then you talk about a little bit later with Philadelphia also having 2 picks here coming up, kind of in the mid first round. And then, of course, the high flying Commanders. We'll see what kind of decision they'll make here in a minute. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the rest of the NFC East does, and of course what the Cowboys will do, and we'll see. We'll kind of have to see how this plays out. And like you said, if Thibodeau looks like to be a really strong edge rusher there, and this is already the 3rd edge rusher that's come off the board already. So a lot of defensive players moving, and you would hope that would just leave all of the other offensive weapons to fall. And so we'll just kind of to Dallas, the potential of Dallas at 24. So we'll just have to see what happens.
I really think this could be a record with defense being the first 5 picks in the draft. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I could be wrong, but I don't know if that's ever happened. Does anyone else have anything? We've gotten to go through the first 5 picks. Like I said, we don't want to be on too long, so we're not going to be able to go through any more, but we got trivia time coming up. Anyone else want to add anything before we go to trivia? All right, then we will head to trivia. I will share my screen here. All right, so I've got the trivia pulled up here. Everyone can answer, and then I will click the one I think, and we'll see who's right. Keep track of your points, and we'll see who wins. Again, this is the NFL draft quiz. So here, obviously, question number one, as you can see, in what year was the first NFL draft held?
I'll take a shot in the dark here, and I'm going to guess 1949.
I was thinking 49 also.
Oh man, this is tough. I'll go 58.
I'm gonna have to go 49. 49. Yeah.
All right, so I picked 58, and it is 1936. So none of us got that question right. On to question two. Which
Ooh,
college has produced the most draft picks in NFL history? Great question, Aaron.
Man, I could see really any of these. Texas, of course, has not produced lately, but has a rich history. Oh man, of course, Southern Cal was huge in the 2000s. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame.
I hate Texas and SC, so I can't pick any of those teams. I'll stick with Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking either Notre Dame or Michigan, but I'll end up going with Notre Dame. They have such a deep history.
I have no clue. But Notre Dame, I'm pretty sure is the oldest. So we're gonna go Notre Dame.
Boom, it's Notre Dame. Did we all pick Notre Dame?
Yep. We all got
Yeah,
one.
we did. All right, we all got one. All right, another good question here. Number three. Which of the following schools has not had a number one overall pick since 2000? I'm going to say Penn State.
I think it is Penn State.
I'm thinking either Penn State or Georgia, but yeah, I'll go with Penn State.
I guess I'll go Penn State.
Oh, wow.
Alabama.
What?
Wow.
That's really surprising. That shocked me there. That's kind of one of those outlier ones where, of course, we all thought Alabama wasn't going to be it. All right. Which of the following players was not selected number one overall? Oh, gosh.
I got no clue, so I'm going to go Mario.
I don't know if Calvin Johnson was number one.
That's
I kind of
what
think
I'm
it's
leaning
Megatron.
towards.
I think it's Megatron.
I think it's Megatron.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Megatron. It's Megatron.
Yeah, Megatron.
Cool.
Got two.
I couldn't remember about Jake Long, but I'd remember Mario Williams and Carson Palmer.
All right, so how many QBs were drafted before
Hall
of
famous
Famer
30
Dan
for
Marino
30
in 1983?
Wow. It's either 5 or 6.
I'll go 5.
I think he was the 6th, so I think it's 5.
Yeah,
LA
5.
was first.
5.
Sure, 5. Yeah, 5.
Boom, 5. Ryan's really good at trivia, as you can tell. All right, number 6. Which of the following QBs was not a member of the famed class of 1983? Oh, man, I don't know this one.
I'm not sure as well. Maybe Ken O'Brien, but
I'll say Todd Blackledge.
I'll go Tony.
I'll go Boomer. Well, I'll pick someone different.
It was Boomer.
Boomer. Nice.
Boom.
All right, hold up. The Panthers pick. They picked, tackle from NC State, Ikwanu. He went before Evan Neal.
What's going
that's
on
great
with Evan
because
Neal?
now the Giants are going to get Evan Neal. Wow, that's great for the Cowboys. All right, back to the quiz. Number 7. Which of the following QBs was not selected before Tom Brady in the 2000
clue.
draft?
E. Martin, just go with it.
I'll go Giovanni.
Giovanni sounds like a guy
Yeah,
that would have been
sounds
drafted
good.
before Tommy.
Yeah.
Giovanni.
Oh,
Oh, it was Todd. All right, what does everybody got? I got 3.
Romo.
Yes, the next
Romo.
one's 100% Romo.
It's Romo.
Romo.
You're with a bunch of Cowboys fans. That question's too easy. 4. All right. Number 9. Which of the following teams has never picked number 1 overall in the draft? I think it's I'm gonna say Green Bay. I'm gonna say Green Bay.
Maybe Pittsburgh though too.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
I'll say Green
Kind of
Bay.
a trick question.
Oh, Denver.
What?
Oh, I was thinking they drafted Elway, but the Colts drafted Elway.
That's right.
And then they traded. Yeah. Man, that's a trick question. All right, last question here. Which team has picked number 1 overall, a league high 4 times in the past 25 years? Oh.
Huh.
Oh, those are all those teams been up there though.
No, that's so true. I think it's Cleveland.
I think it is Cleveland. It's
Gotta
probably
be
either
Browns.
Cleveland or Jacksonville.
Browns,
I was
right?
thinking Cleveland.
I'm going Cleveland. Nick, you got a pick?
Browns.
Browns. Yeah,
Yep,
it's Browns.
Cleveland.
All right, so I got 5. I got a 50%.
I got 6.
What everybody else get?
Got like 3 or 4. Something like
I
that.
think I got it was I think I wasn't counting. I think I got 5.
All right, so Alec wins trivia time. Once
3-0.
again.
3-0,
Once
baby.
again, wow. That's crazy. So it was a great episode. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ryan and Nick, thank you all for coming on the podcast. It was great talking about the draft. Let's hope the Cowboys draft well and pick an offensive lineman. And let's have a great upcoming NFL season.
Yeah, and to touch on next week's episode real quick, we'll probably get back into the NBA playoffs and talk a little bit about baseball. It hasn't been much going on. Been a couple of bench clearing brawls the past day or two, but other than that, nothing's really going on with baseball. But the playoffs are heating up, so we'll have a lot to talk about next Thursday about that.